G'day guys, how you going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Sean and I make videos about tech, and today we're going to be talking about a cool little battery pack from a company called A-Logic. This is a battery pack with 5,000 milliamp hours of battery capacity. It can wirelessly charge using Qi charging on top, and then it also has a USB dock built right into it. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, maybe consider hitting the like button, getting subscribed, and if you want to see behind the scenes footage, you can check me out on our Instagram at Technology Australia. So now that's all said and done, let's begin. Alright, so this particular battery and charger from A-Logic is probably one of the most innovative ones that I've seen on the market up until this point. This particular one from A-Logic has a lot of different functions that I'm going to quickly go through for you and unbox on camera. So it's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which also supports wireless charging. So you can put down your mobile phone that supports wireless Qi charging onto the top of the phone. And then as you can see here, you've got two USB 3 ports. You've got a USB-C input, and that also acts as a USB pass-through. So you can actually plug in your, for example, laptop charger into that, and then using the USB-C cable, plug that into your laptop, and it supports 60 watts of power as a pass-through. And then you get things like the HDMI and card reader as well. So the fact that you're getting so much value in a charger that can do so much is so cool, and I haven't seen anything quite like it. And I think a lot of companies need to definitely take note from what A-Logic is doing. So as you can see on the back here, you've got the option for 4K video, 60 watt power delivery, 5 watt wireless Qi charging, USB 3.1 generation 1 hub, SD and micro SD cards, fast charging, and 5,000 milliamps of power. So, you know, a good example is in this illustration, you could be recharging a pair of AirPods wirelessly whilst also recharging the phone. So it's a pretty cool piece of kit. But then spinning it around and looking at the illustration on the inside, you know, you could go ahead, for example, and plug in your laptop charger into the actual dock, plug in a bunch of SD cards, USB, and then using the cable that comes from the battery itself, plug that into your charger, plugging that into your laptop to recharge your laptop's battery. So pretty cool. The actual weight of this one, it's kind of hard to see here on camera, but it's 300 milligrams. Color is space gray, 2 years of warranty, and then the resolution for the HDMI is 4K 30 Hertz. So just take that in consideration. If you are wanting to do something like 4K 60 Hertz, you might need to look on A-Logic's website for a dedicated or a specific cable or adapter for that. So let's get this out of the box and see how it actually feels and how it actually looks. Now, in terms of pricing, this is a device which is more on the premium end. It's $179, which for some people, if they're just wanting it for the battery, I guess, recharging function alone, is probably not going to be worth it for them. But for the people that want the versatility of a wireless charger, something that can charge two devices at once, and then also, you know, for example, plugging in like an SD card, or plugging in a bunch of USBs, and also maybe a monitor as well. I think $179 when you consider all those factors in is actually quite remarkable. Like, the person who's going to be buying this is not going to be buying it just purely to recharge your phone, and that is it. If you're just looking at something to recharge your phone and phone only, then there's plenty of other options that cost a lot less. If you're looking at something that can be a versatile piece of kit for when you're traveling, if you're someone who's always on the road, and you need to have, you know, everything in one little small package, then this is definitely the product that you should be looking at. So on the top here, you've got like a nice little piece of texture, which is quite nice. It feels quite premium, with a little Qi symbol. So you can obviously put your phone on there and wirelessly recharge it. On the side here, you've got a little power button. So if you press that, on camera, it's showing two little white dots. So it's probably got probably half of the battery already full. You've got an indicator here as well. So if we just grabbed a phone, let me just grab my iPhone here and put that on top. Let's see if it actually goes ahead and wirelessly charges. Alright, so I just realized the reason why the phone wasn't automatically wireless charging, which is my fault entirely and not A-Logic's. But the fact that they include a manual and I just didn't even see it, or I should say didn't even read it, is completely my fault. So the wireless charging function, to actually turn that on, they do recommend that you do have the battery bank fully charged before going ahead and trying the wireless charging. But if you do want to go ahead and use it with half the battery capacity, you can do that. So you just hold down this button for a few seconds for the battery to come on. So you can see there's like some little lights there. And then if you double tap this button, you will see now you have the wireless indicator now telling you that you can wirelessly charge. So if I was to place this down and, for example, grab my iPhone and place that on here and then move it down a little bit, you can see that it wirelessly charges. So taking it off obviously stops, and then putting it back down, it wirelessly charges straight away. So that's obviously quite cool, and that was just my fault that I didn't read the instructions properly before trying the wireless charging function. Spinning it around onto the other side, you can see here we've got the HDMI port, which supports 4K at 30 Hertz, a full-size SD card reader, and then a micro SD card reader, two USB 3.1 ports Gen 1, and then we've also got here a USB-C input for recharging the battery itself, and then that also works as USB pass-through. So you obviously would plug in the USB-C end that comes pre-attached on the battery into something like your MacBook Pro, and then you would plug in your laptop charger for your MacBook Pro into the port just here at the end, and then that way you can recharge your laptop and run the ports without having to compromise anything at all. And then if you want to, while you're working on your projects on your laptop, for example, you can place your phone down onto the top of the charger to recharge your phone's battery. So like I said, $179 might seem like a lot of money for some people, but for those of you who are maybe business people, or you're always on the road and you're working a lot from your laptop and you need to have the function of maybe importing data into your laptop from like an SD card, or you want to connect to another monitor with the HDMI, or even like plugging into a TV, and then having the options here as well of plugging in just two regular USB devices like another phone. So a good situation could be as well that you might want to place one phone here and then recharge one phone, and then running a USB cable out of the side here and recharging something else. Like you might have another Android device, or another iPhone that you want to recharge for someone that you work with or something like that. So like I said, the fact that you get all these ports so you can recharge other devices, plug in regular USB devices, you've got a USB pass-through here for recharging the battery itself, but then also recharging your laptop, SD card, 4K 30 Hz output, and then the Qi charging function on top of it is extremely good value. Alrighty, so now that you've seen the unboxing and all the specs and talked about all the functionality that you can get out of something like this, what do I actually think about it? For the price, $179 might seem like a lot of money, but I think for everything that you can do with this particular device, I think it replaces 3 or 4 other separate devices and puts them all into one. So I think for the price, it's actually extremely good value. If you're just going to buy it as a battery bank and something to wirelessly charge your phone, there are definitely some cheaper options out there. So for the person who needs something that can do everything that this can do, like for example, if you're on the road and you're traveling and you want to be able to take photos from your camera, put the SD card straight into here, plug this straight into your laptop with the USB cable that's already attached, just makes life a lot easier. I do think that the construction of the device could be a little bit better at this price point as well. I mean, to have this nice texture is obviously they've thought about it and they're caring about the aesthetics a little bit. To have this plastic enclosure, I think maybe it would have been better if they could have made it aluminium or maybe a stronger plastic. That's just my point of view. And then the other thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the actual cable already being pre-attached. There must be obviously a reason why they've done that, but I would prefer it if you could replace this cable or even take the cable out altogether. Just on the off chance that the cable gets crimped to the point where it's no longer usable or it becomes damaged, you have to replace this whole device. If you could just simply pull out the USB-C cable and plug in another one, that to me would just make a lot more sense. If that costs more, I think people would still prefer to pay maybe $10 or $20 more to have a cable that can be removable in the event that something goes wrong. Because as I mentioned, if the cable gets damaged, basically this becomes absolutely redundant, and I can't imagine A-Logic is going to replace this for free if you've damaged the cable by yourself or accidentally or whatever it might be. So in terms of the product, I really like the product. I like what A-Logic is doing. All the functionality that you get out of it is absolutely amazing. Just maybe upgrade the materials next time to be aluminium or something a little bit stronger, a little bit nicer feeling, and make that cable able to be removed and replaced if in the event that it gets damaged, you can do that. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section. If you think I'm wrong or you think that I'm maybe being too harsh, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So thanks again to A-Logic for sending this product over for review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.